Imagine looking at your cat's food bowl. It looks complete, it smells fine, and they eat it every single day without a single complaint. But what if that bowl is quietly missing 5 specific things? What if, without them, your cat's body is working twice as hard as it needs to year after year just to stay steady? Now, I know exactly what some of you are thinking right now. Dr. Kim, my cat eats perfectly fine, uses the litter box with 0 issues, and seems totally normal. Why would 5 random things sprinkled on top of a standard bowl actually matter? That is an incredibly fair question. And today, I am going to show you exactly why it matters, along with one massive mistake near the end that can completely undo all of your hard work if you aren't careful. I'm Dr. Mia Kim, a small animal veterinarian in Austin, Texas. Let's dive straight into the first secret, and it might just be the most overlooked factor sitting in your cat's bowl right now. Secret number 1 is moisture, and it is easily the most underrated component in your cat's entire diet. To understand why, we have to look at their history. Cats are descendants of desert animals. Their ancestors evolved to get almost all of their water directly from their prey, not from a water bowl. Because of this evolutionary trait, cats possess a naturally weak thirst drive. They simply do not feel thirsty the way dogs or humans do, even when their bodies are actively crying out for water. Now, place that unique biology next to a standard bowl of dry kibble. Dry pet food is only around 10% moisture. Compare that to a mouse, which is roughly 70% water. Day after day, year after year, a cat eating an exclusively dry diet is running on a slow, quiet water deficit that their natural instincts never signal to them. Here is why that matters so much for your cat's longevity. Chronic kidney disease is the single most common cause of death in senior cats. And one of the absolute cruelest things about this disease is how completely silent it is. A cat's kidneys can lose up to 2/3 of their total function before you ever see a single obvious sign at home. No vomiting, no weight loss, nothing. By the time an owner finally notices their cat drinking more water, losing weight, or having bad breath, the disease has often been quietly progressing in the background for a very long time. I distinctly remember a client bringing in a 14-year-old cat a while back because she noticed the cat just seemed a little more interested in the water bowl lately. That one small, brilliant observation led us to run blood work, which caught early kidney changes early enough that we were actually able to slow the progression down significantly with basic diet and hydration changes. That is the entire goal here, catching these changes early, or better yet, reducing the daily strain on their organs in the first place. So, here's the fix. If you feed wet food, start adding a splash of extra water right into it. If your cat only eats dry kibble, add a small amount of warm water directly to the bowl and let it sit for a couple of minutes to absorb before serving. This not only hydrates the food, but also softens the kibble and releases a much stronger aroma, which many cats find incredibly appealing. Another fantastic trick is using a pet fountain instead of a still bowl. Moving water mimics a fresh running stream, which their wild instincts trust far more than stagnant water sitting in a dish. Just remember, if you are switching your cat from an all-dry diet to include more wet food, do it gradually over a week or 2. A sudden, drastic switch can occasionally cause loose stools. These small daily changes add up to years of less strain on their kidneys. If keeping your cat safe and adding vibrant years to their life is something you genuinely care about, that is exactly why I create these videos. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. On this channel, we share real, practical veterinary knowledge that can save you time, save you money, and quite literally protect your cat's life. With that said, let's move right into secret number 2. This is something most dog owners never have to think about, but every single cat owner absolutely must understand. Cats require a critical amino acid called taurine. Unlike dogs or humans, a cat's body cannot produce enough taurine on its own to sustain its vital functions. If a cat's diet becomes deficient in taurine over a prolonged period, it can lead to a devastating heart condition called dilated cardiomyopathy, and in many cases, permanent, irreversible vision loss. There is a fascinating piece of veterinary history that most pet owners have never heard. Back in the 1980s, veterinarians across the country noticed an alarming, sudden spike in cats, developing this exact type of heart disease. Researchers eventually traced the entire epidemic back to inadequate taurine levels in commercial cat foods of that era. That massive discovery completely changed pet food regulations globally. Because of that history, every complete and balanced commercial cat food today, whether dry or wet, is legally required to contain adequate taurine levels. So no, I am not telling you that your cat is currently deficient. A standard, complete commercial diet already handles this perfectly. But I want you to hold on to this specific point because it is the exact reason behind the dangerous mistake I promise to reveal at the end of this video. So keep taurine in mind as we move forward. If you do want to give your cat a fresh protein boost occasionally, a small amount of cooked chicken, turkey, or a bit of canned sardine packed in water are naturally rich in taurine and make a fantastic occasional topper. Just remember, they are toppers, not a replacement for their main food. One quick label tip for you. If you ever look at boutique, exotic, or unconventional cat food brands, always check the back of the bag for an AAFCO nutritional adequacy statement. This simple check confirms that the food has actually been scientifically formulated to meet complete nutritional standards, taurine included. Now let's jump into secret number 3. Have you noticed your cat jumping onto the kitchen counter a little less than they used to? Or maybe they hesitate for a second or two before hopping onto the bed? That brings us directly to our next vital topic, joint health. By the time cats reach their senior years, a massive percentage of them are quietly dealing with arthritis, even though we rarely ever see them limp the way a dog would. Cats are absolute experts at hiding pain and compensating for discomfort. Instead of limping, they will just jump a little less, choose lower pieces of furniture to rest on, or completely stop using a litter box that has high sides. Unfortunately, owners frequently mistake these subtle behavioral shifts for simply slowing down with age, rather than realizing their cat is experiencing real joint discomfort. This is where omega-3 fatty acids come into play, specifically the marine-based kind found in high-quality fish oil. These fatty acids exert a powerful, proven anti-inflammatory effect on the joints, while simultaneously supporting radiant skin and coat health. However, there is a massive catch specific to cats. Plant-based omega-3s, such as flaxseed oil, are virtually useless for them. Because cats are obligate carnivores, their bodies are highly inefficient at converting plant-based omega-3s into the active forms their joints and skin actually require. You must look for a fish-based source specifically. Adding a tiny amount of fish oil made specifically for cats to their food a few times a week is one of the simplest, most effective upgrades you can make to their bowl. Just keep this important safety note in mind regarding dosing. Cats are much smaller than dogs, so the required amount is incredibly tiny. We are talking about a few individual drops, definitely not a full teaspoon. Always strictly follow the dosing guidelines on a product manufactured specifically for cats, rather than guessing based on a human or dog product, since giving too much can cause loose stools or even affect blood clotting over time. Secret number 4 is something you cannot see at all from the outside, because it is happening entirely inside your cat's digestive tract. A massive portion of your cat's entire immune system lives directly inside their gut. A thriving, healthy population of good bacteria helps regulate everything from daily digestion and nutrient absorption to skin health and how effectively their body fights off illnesses. Supporting this internal ecosystem becomes especially critical after events that disrupt their natural balance, such as a course of antibiotic treatments, a stressful stay at a boarding facility, or a sudden, untransitioned diet change. All of these factors can completely throw off their gut microbiome. If you want to actively support their digestive health, the safest and most effective route is a small amount of a cat-specific probiotic powder mixed right into their food. I strongly advise being incredibly cautious about giving dairy-based options like traditional yogurt or kefir to cats. A vast majority of adult cats are actually lactose intolerant, and introducing dairy can easily cause an upset stomach and diarrhea that completely outweighs any potential bacterial benefit. If your veterinarian has recommended a specific professional probiotic, that is the exact ingredient worth prioritizing over any DIY or homemade alternative. That brings us to secret number 5, and unlike the other 4 secrets we have covered today, this one isn't something you add to the bowl at all. It is something you must actively watch. Their weight. Feline obesity is incredibly common, and carrying around extra weight puts direct, punishing strain on a cat's joints and heart. But here is the medical fact that genuinely surprises most cat owners. Obesity is also the single biggest risk factor for developing diabetes in cats. On the flip side, something truly remarkable happens with cats that does not happen the same way in dogs. Many diabetic cats can actually go into complete clinical remission with proper weight management and a high-protein diet, meaning their bodies recover enough that they may no longer need daily insulin injections at all. Before you start adding any of the healthy toppers we have discussed today, take a very close look at your cat's overall daily calorie intake. When you look down at your cat from above, you should see a visible, defined waistline. You should also be able to easily feel their ribs with gentle pressure without seeing them prominently through their fur. These are the classic signs of a beautiful, healthy weight. Now please pay very close attention to this critical safety note. If your cat does need to lose weight, never, ever put them on a sudden drastic calorie cut or a crash diet. Unlike humans, if a cat stops eating enough food for even a few days, or if they lose weight far too rapidly, their liver can develop an incredibly serious and often fatal condition called hepatic lipidosis, or fatty liver disease. Weight loss in cats must happen slowly, methodically, and ideally under the direct guidance of your veterinarian. This is genuinely one of those areas where doing it yourself too aggressively can cause severe, life-threatening harm. Now let's talk about the major mistake I promised you at the very beginning of this video. All 5 of these dietary additions are meant to be small, targeted toppers placed on top of a complete commercial diet, absolutely not a replacement for it. If you start feeding your cat a large volume of homemade cooked chicken, plain fish, or unformulated broths, and it begins to make up a significant portion of their daily caloric intake, you will unintentionally create the exact taurine deficiencies and severe nutrient imbalances we talked about earlier. Your intentions might be completely good, but the biological outcome can be highly dangerous. The golden rule I give to all of my own clients is this: keep any and all homemade additions or toppers to roughly 10% or less of their total daily food volume. Their complete balanced commercial diet should always be doing 90% of the heavy lifting, with these 5 targeted additions simply supporting their health from the sidelines. To quickly recap everything we covered today, add a little extra moisture to protect their vital kidneys, always be mindful of complete taurine levels, introduce a fish-based omega-3 to protect their joints, offer targeted gut support after times of stress or illness, and watch their physical weight carefully without ever resorting to crash dieting. Small, intentional, consistent changes like this are genuinely how you help your cat live a much longer, far more comfortable life. If this video gave you something valuable today, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on next week's veterinary breakdown, and let me know down in the comments section right now, which one of these 5 secrets are you going to start with today? I'll see you in the very next video.